Hey, it's Krysta. Thanks for being here, showing up for yourself, and being curious today. On the Rewilding Humanity podcast, we explore the depths of what it means to be human and how to come back into wholeness, physically, mentally, spiritually. Virtual high five to all you truth seekers out there. Let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rewilding Humanity podcast. This is episode 51. And I'm doing something a little bit different with this episode. I decided to sit down and have a conversation with my grandma, Shirley. I always love the stories that I get to hear from my elders about how they grew up. And I find myself these days actually feeling really sad when I listen to these stories because I feel like we're never going to be able to get back to those times. The times when people lived in community and lived off the land, and times were tough on both sides of my family. People were very poor. So I come from a long line on both my mom and dad's side of dirt poor farmers. And you're going to hear all about that in this conversation with my grandma. And it was not easy. I mean, it's cool though. It's cool the skills and stuff that they had. Like my great grandma used to spin her own wool to make clothing for the kids. And everything was from the land. Everything. There was a few things that they purchased. Grandma mentioned, I think it was like shoes and snow pants and those types of things. But yeah, they literally made everything. And I wanted to have this conversation because there's so many of us, like myself included now, that really feel like it's time to get back to the land. And I don't think anybody wants to do it in this way where it's like you have to live this way and scrape by with whatever you have because there's no other way. I think we're just looking to be closer to nature. And I know for myself, like there's lots of things about technology that I do love and that I'm very grateful for. But we've become so separated in society from our true nature. And I think a lot of us are craving that connection again. And so I thought it'd be cool to have this conversation to see what it was like growing up. I've heard these stories over the decades, spending time with my grandparents. And, maybe you grew up in a different type of family system. I think a lot of us here in Canada had similar backgrounds in terms of our families. There are many, many people here in Canada where our grandparents and great grandparents immigrated from Europe to get free land in Alberta and Saskatchewan in the prairies that was given away many decades ago. The government wanted people to come over and break the land and farm. And so people did that. But it was tough. It was a really tough life. So you're going to get some in-depth information about that, what it was like growing up 80 years ago. We're going to talk about how food has changed over the last century, even just 50 years. And what people used to do with their time, I asked Grandma, I was like, you guys had a lot of work and stuff to do on the farm. Kids were working on the farm back then. And I was like, did you ever feel stressed though? And she's like, we didn't even know what that word meant. Like, what was stress? That wasn't even a thing. So I thought that was quite interesting. You're also going to get some details about my family system and some of the trauma. On my grandma's side, my great grandma, for example, she was basically left for dead as a baby. And because they didn't want to have a girl, they didn't want to have another girl. So this wasn't that long ago in Canada. This kind of stuff was happening. So we unpacked that a little bit. And yeah, just how societal values have changed over the past half century, 80 years ago as well, we're going to get into. So yeah, a little bit of a different format, but I wanted to bring this to you guys. I also just wanted to do it to have this on record for myself for the future. And I'm not going to say future kids because I don't think that's necessarily in my future, but I think it's important to document these things. So I'm really glad I did it. I hope you guys enjoy. And there was a footnote. I'm glad I remembered. We talk about vaccines at one point. I just wanted to get really clear on that information because, as I generally do, I like to exaggerate numbers. So I mentioned somewhere like, I thought I heard somewhere the vaccine schedule in the US, they give the kids like 90 vaccines or something like that. Wasn't 90. Still a shit ton though. But I just wanted to cite that here. In British Columbia, in Canada here, from on the vaccine schedule, which I found on immunizebc.ca, the vaccine schedule from 0 to 18 years is 39 shots now. And then looking up in the US on the CDC, from 0 to 18 years of age, the recommended vaccine schedule is 47 shots. So it's not a small amount. Also noting that a lot of that is annual flu shots, which I believe are completely unnecessary, but it is what it is. And this isn't to say that, vaccines are bad or whatever. Like, I've got a bunch of them. I'm sure some are helpful, but we were just kind of having a conversation around, like, did you have ADD? Did kids back then have ADD? Like, did kids have a lot of these issues that we're seeing right now, like with autism? It's just so prevalent. Of course, we want to look to things like our food system, and literally everything is poison right now. So that could definitely be a contributing factor. But there is that conversation around the vaccines as well. And it's not like, hey, let's not do this, but it's like, hey, let's ask some questions. So that was brought up, and I just wanted to make sure we had accurate information. Okay, now we are ready to jump into that interview with my grandma. Let's jump in and have a chat with Shirley Severin.
Yay, I'm excited you're on the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
All kinds of things.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it would be cool to do an interview to chat about what it was like when you were a kid growing up.
Okay.
Yeah. There's lots of people, I think, that want to kind of go back in time and live the way that our grandparents used to live. And yeah, I wanted to give people...
They better be ready for hard work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't easy, was it?
No. My mom worked in the house and outside.
Mm-hmm.
We lived on a farm. And she milked cows. She slaughtered pigs when she had to. And us kids, we helped her.
Mm-hmm.
My dad would be plowing the fields or doing other things on the farm. But my mom worked side by side with her husband, with my dad.
So first of all, how long ago was this? How old are you now?
I'm 82.
82. And then you grew up. So how did it work? So Baba, so your mom, my great-grandma, she immigrated from...
No, she was born in Canada.
How come she had such a thick Ukrainian accent?
Because she lived in a Ukrainian community.
Oh.
And she went to school up to grade 8. And she said she wanted to go to high school and finish her education. But her father, he wanted boys. And my mom was the baby of 5 girls.
Yeah.
And anyway, she had to go to the small village to go to high school. And my grandfather said, no, there is a pickaxe waiting for you. And she had to take a pickaxe and do whatever they do and dig holes and stuff on the farm.
Crazy.
It is crazy. He was upset because she wasn't a boy and he wanted a boy. And my mom was always very funny and happy about that she was the only girl in the family that had pierced ears.
Oh. Is she a rebel? Did she pierce her own ears?
No, her auntie came and pierced her ears with a needle and thread.
Oh, I think I remember this story. And yeah, literally, didn't she just wear a piece of thread?
And when she was a baby. And her mom and dad left her to die.
Baba?
Yes. they didn't want to feed her. And my aunt, my mom's aunt, Mrs. Rupta, she kind of suspected things wouldn't be going that good at my mom's house. So she came to the house and she said to my mom's oldest sister, Angie Rose, what is your mom feeding your baby? And of course she was little, and there was no milk in the house, no bottles, no nipples, and she wasn't breastfeeding either. So my mom's aunt went home and came back to my mom's place with a bag of rice and a bottle. No, she didn't have a bottle at that time, with some clean cloth, little rags, and she boiled the rice and had my Aunt Rose watch her do that. And anyway, so then they strained the rice, put it in a cup or a pot or whatever. My mom's aunt told her sister Rose to feed the liquid to my mom and for Rose to eat the rice. And so what Rose had to do was put the piece of cloth in the rice water and have the baby suck on the rice, on the piece of rag. And then my aunt went into town and came back with some bottles and nibbles.
Was Baba the youngest?
She was the youngest of 5 girls.
Okay. And so what, her mom was just done and didn't want to deal with more babies or what?
I don't know about that. They didn't have any more children after my mom.
Why would they just leave her to die?
Because she's not a boy. And they had 4 girls already.
And this happened in Canada?
In Canada.
That was the way for so long. And I mean, and it still is in lots of cultures.
Exactly.
You're not a boy, you're worthless.
Yeah. He wanted a boy to help him work on the farm.
Crazy. So then your grandparents immigrated.
Yes.
From Ukraine.
With their oldest daughter, Rose. And I believe Rose was 5 years old when she came to Canada.
And so did they do that thing? Because like back in the day, the Canadian government was giving away free land.
Free land.
Is that what they did?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had to break so many acres in a year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they realize that when they came over, it was going to be some of the harshest conditions for Northern Alberta?
Well, they were worse off in the Ukraine.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What was
They would only have a few acres of land to live on, and it wasn't producing enough to feed and support families. So that's why they came to Canada.
How come the land wasn't producing? Was it over-farmed? Or?
Well, it's only a few acres, and for big families to survive on a few acres is just not enough.
How many kids were there? I mean, it was just normal to have 12 to 14 kids.
It's true. And I didn't realize it until I was taking university transfer courses. This was after the Second World War, actually. The government told the doctors not to recommend birth control for the women because they wanted to populate Canada.
Really?
Really. And I didn't know that until I took university courses.
And what would birth control have even been back then?
What I studied was when the immigrants were coming to Canada, the native people would show the people what to use for birth control.
From plants?
From plants.
Cool.
Yeah, I was surprised at that as well.
Oh, well, I'm not. I mean, like, that's what our ancestors did, even in Europe, right? They would go to the local witch, quote unquote, which is just, somebody that knew how to work with plants or was a midwife, and they could provide or let them know which plants to take in order to not get pregnant. But the men didn't like that very much, and then they just burnt them all at the stake.
Well, I found that hilarious. The poor women got it every which way. Isn't that
seriously?
That's funny.
Then Baba grew up in like a community that spoke Ukrainian, so that's why her accent was so thick. And then your dad, Guido. No, yeah, Guido.
Oh no,
we didn't call him Guido.
With you call him Guido.
Well, I never met him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
my
dad before I was born, I think, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, because I knew Guido, which was Baba's second husband.
No, Guido was Baba's first husband, and Ambrose was my boss.
Right. I forgot. I don't think I met Guido.
No, you weren't even born, sweetie.
And then, so when did his family come over from the Ukraine?
I don't know much about that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And did he kind of grow up in the same way, like farming?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people in Canada, like for anybody listening who might be in other places, a lot of us come from this kind of background where our grandparents and great grandparents came for a better life and started out farming, but it was hard.
And so you were happy to have it.
Yeah.
Really were happy to have it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everybody was super poor.
Oh, very, very poor. When my grandparents came to Canada, they dug a hole in a hill and carved it out somehow and built like a mud house.
I thought that was Grandpa Franker's situation. I didn't realize that was you.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt that most people did that.
Really?
And Romanian people did that as well. I have a book I should give you to read. It's interesting. And
Or mud hut people.
Yes. Yep. That's why we're all hard workers.
Seriously, it's epigenetic. Yeah. Yeah, because everyone in our family is like, we're overachievers and like very, very, very
exactly.
hard workers. Mm-hmm. And that would make sense because for generations, it was like survival mode.
Oh, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So then so Bob and Guido, they just kind of continued. That's all they knew was farming. So that's what they did. And then how many brothers and sisters did you have again?
I had 5 brothers and 1 sister.
So it's actually kind of small family compared to like.
Well, my dad comes from a family of 12, I believe. And he rose. My mom's oldest sister had 20 children. Oh my God. 2 died when they were very young.
Wow.
And she raised 18 kids. And they all turned out really nice. They're beautiful. They're a beautiful family.
That's crazy. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Did Baba like figure out birth control maybe?
No.
She had less kids.
She said she was at a function and she overheard some elderly women say something that there is something to prevent having babies. And so when Uncle Wally was born, she birthed him in a hospital. And anyway, she was being discharged. She said she didn't know how to ask the doctor for birth control. She didn't know what it was called. And she said to the doctor, I'm not leaving the hospital until you give me something so I don't have any more children.
Oh, so she did figure it out then.
Well, she overheard a conversation by 2 older women.
And so, like, did she take, like, the pill or?
A diaphragm.
Oh, interesting.
The pill came in the early 60s.
Oh, it wasn't until then.
And the diaphragm isn't fun.
Yeah. I remember Seinfeld episodes about Elaine's diaphragm.
Oh, really? Yeah. I learned something today.
I mean, you talk about, like, we've talked about your house and the farm. Like, what did it look like? What did the house look like that you grew up on?
Have you not seen my pictures?
Yeah, I think so. But, like, it was very small.
It was a small house.
How many rooms?
It had 2 rooms and an entrance room. In Ukraine,
For 9 people.
There was 7, 8, 9 people. Yeah, we slept. My sister and I had our very own bed. My brothers slept 4 to a bed, 2 at the front and 2 in the feet. And the baby slept with mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
They also had another bed, I know, in the kitchen. And I remember sleeping in that bed one time.
The kitchen bed?
That's how it was. My aunt and uncle across the road from us, they raised 9 children. And I believe she had 11 children. 2 have passed away. And they had a 2-room house, a lot smaller than our house. I remember seeing 2 beds, and there was a 3rd one in the kitchen. Wow. It was my favorite cousins. We grew up with them. It was nice.
So, like you told me before that You know, you guys didn't have a lot, but you guys were super happy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We were happy. No, everybody in the area was in the same boat. And we played together. We grew up together. We never played in the house, I don't recall. We played outside summer and winter. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot different than how kids grow up now, hey?
Oh, my goodness. Kids today haven't got a clue.
No, it's not very healthy, is it?
No. And it's really sad, actually.
And I agree. I mean, my generation is probably the last to experience a childhood without technology. We played outside when we were little because that's what we did. We had TV and stuff and, you know, our Nintendos, which we would play sometimes, but like it was brief. And we were outside all the time and we came home when it was dark.
Exactly.
We didn't have, you know, helicopter parents as they're called and all of these crazy things that happen. I was listening to a podcast or something recently, and this guy was describing how, I think he was from like a large city in the US or something, and he went to another country and witnessed a group of children walking down the street, and he was like so upset about it because he's like, where are those kids' parents? Like, what is happening here? And someone explained to him that they're just kids like walking to school or whatever. And he's just like, whoa, like that just doesn't even happen where I live anymore. And I'm like, wow, how sad.
Today in Japan, the children walk around freely. Madoka told me that. Even today.
I certainly hope so.
And nobody hurts them.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just like people now are just so scheduled. You know, they don't have time. Everybody's got 5 jobs and you have to.
And fearful.
Yeah.
People are fearful today. That's what I have encountered.
How did you used to go to school?
Oh, we all
20 miles in the snow?
Just about. We were dressed for. My mom raised sheep just to get wool.
Oh.
And she would wash her wool. And it must have been terrible because that sheep wool, when you see it raw, it's full of grease and hay and straw. It's awful.
Yeah.
And she would wash it by hand. And then she made her own yarn. I still have her spinning wheel. And she would spin her own wool. And then she would dye some of the wool in different colors. And
how did she dye it?
Well, I think at one time she used onions. Onion skins for yellow. And I can't remember now, but I do remember her also buying some packets of dye and mix it, I believe, I'm not sure, with vinegar and water. And I remember I was like maybe grade 1 or 2, and I was heading for school that morning, and she says, Shirley, Anna, when you come home from school, I'll have knitted you a sweater, and it'll be the cable stitch. And so it's like I knew what the cable stitch was. Anyway, it came home. I had a beautiful red sweater.
Wow.
And she would knit us socks, sweaters, scarves. So we were always very warm walking to school.
So like so much of what you guys had was literally made right on the farm, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like food, clothing, like
everything.
What did you guys buy? Maybe like shoes, or did you make your own shoes too?
That's too bad we didn't, but no, she used to buy shoes, parkas, ski pants. She did make us dresses. Oh, I remember having a dress made for a Christmas concert. And she ordered some fabric from, I believe, Eaton's catalog. And when the fabric came, she said, Shirley, Anna, stand on this chair. So I stood on the chair, and she took her yard of fabric and she measured for skirt and top. And then, and she says, oh, when I have enough for long sleeves. I was so excited.
Yeah. You got to have sleeves.
Yeah.
Mom used to sew some stuff.
I know she did
when I was little.
And I was good at it.
Yeah, she made us some clothes and Halloween costumes. That kind of dance costumes.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about the food you guys ate.
Well, we grew huge gardens.
And wasn't it just normal for everyone to have a garden? At what point did people stop having backyard gardens, do you think?
I have no idea.
But it was very common, like just even in town, right?
Yes, they had a garden in Edmonton. I remember sometimes people even planted a garden in the front yards. They had potatoes in their front yards.
Like, why the hell do we have grass? It's so stupid.
I know. It's so true.
Like, literally, with this grass that you have in the backyard and the front yard, like, that could all be food that you wouldn't have to pay. Like, literally, I go to the grocery store now, like, even just the farm market down the street. I buy a bag of groceries and it's $100.
Oh, yes. And there's not much in there.
No, a bag of groceries for $100 is insane. I'm buying, like, eggs, potatoes, some greens, like it's nothing.
If I know.
The other day, I bought a thing of cherries, some chicken. I bought 3 things and it cost me $65.
Oh, I know. It doesn't take much. There's nothing under $5.
It's insane.
Nothing.
No, I mean, and that's because of government-induced inflation and all of that stuff. Yes, we know that. But still, it's crazy to me that we don't just grow a lot of our own stuff. And I get it, it's hard because we have to relearn that because, I don't know, what you guys did to your kids, but they didn't want to do gardens. Well, Dad had a garden for a while.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, in the Kamloops house. He did have a garden for a bit and plant weird shit like rutabaga and chili peppers and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we did have one for a while, but then he was like, oh, I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I had no interest in it when I was a kid.
I know.
But now, like, a lot of people have interest in growing their own food because there's so much information coming out. Well, we know a lot of people in our generation are chronically ill. And it's because of food and the chemical system and the industrial system.
At Krysta, also people eat out a lot.
Well, that too. But I mean, even the stuff that you get in the grocery store, even if you buy organic food, because our soil systems are so depleted, because of agriculture or farming, they use chemicals and they use the same soil over and over again. It's become so depleted that the food doesn't even have much nutrition in it anymore.
Well, I read an article quite some time ago on organic food. And I forget who the writer was, but he specializes in organic food. And he says, there is no way you could grow absolutely organic.
Because there's so much poison everywhere now. Everything is tainted with chemicals. And like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's tough. And so I think a lot of people kind of like want to have more control over that. And so there's this kind of glamorization of growing your own food and relearning some of those things. And it's tough. I don't think anybody wants to go back to the days of 12 kids living in like a 2-room house. But
and you know what? It didn't hurt us one iota. It did not hurt us. In fact, I think we are all the better for it. Then during summer holidays, while we were on our school vacation, we helped my mom weed the garden. We were never so glad to go back to school because we had to help her weed and carry water to water cabbages, tomatoes. We didn't have a hose to just turn on and let the sprinkles go on.
Yeah, how'd you guys get, where'd you get your drinking water from?
We had a well and we had a rope and a bucket, and we would put this bucket down into the well.
Oh, really?
And it would pick up water, and then we'd roll it up again, and we'd carry buckets of water to the house.
How far was the well from the house?
We were very lucky, not very far.
Did the community share the well?
Oh, no. Everybody had their own wells.
Okay.
This is when we were living on the farm.
Is this how you would like fill up what you would wash with and stuff too? Wow.
It's hard work. It was very hard work. My mom hated the farm when she left. She says she didn't even want to go back and visit.
Yeah.
Because
that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like you're making your own wool. Sew the clothes on your kid's back and you got 7 kids. Like it would be a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
My aunt that had 20 children, my mom said she baked bread every day.
Oh, God. It's exhausting just even thinking about that.
I know. You have to work really hard on the farm.
Yeah, well, especially if you're doing it that way, for sure.
And now it's so pricey to run a farm.
Well, and it depends on, how you do it and whatever.
And what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people, like myself included, it's more of a lifestyle thing, like it would be, I'd like to get to the point where I can grow the majority of what I, eat, but still it's tough. And if you want to get through the winter, you have tons of preserving to do and
Oh, yes.
better learn how to hunt and fish and all of those things if you want that level quality of food that used to be just normal for people.
And now people go fishing and hunting for pleasure.
Yeah, there are not many of them these days. I feel it used to be like a much more normalized thing, and now, it doesn't seem to be as common.
And it depends where you live.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think a lot of city folk, quote unquote, don't do that often. And I grew up doing a lot of that stuff, but I don't do it as much. And I'd definitely like to do it more, but I need people like, to kind of go with and get out to do that sort of stuff. Like I always want to do it, but I get caught in that trap of like, oh, but I could be doing work or, because I'm the same thing. Like I'm never not doing it. Like I'm always working.
I know you are.
But I'm also adventuring and I'm also, resting a lot more lately too, which is good. I feel like I'm trying to break some of those generational things,
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because the overwork is real and the stress that everybody has now leads to a lot of the illnesses that we're all dealing with.
Exactly.
And you guys, so I mean, like being poor, like you guys would just eat wild stuff too, right? Like you said, you used to go mushroom picking. What else did you get?
That was
forage for?
We picked choke cherries. We picked Saskatoons. We picked wild strawberries, blueberries.
What'd you do with the choke cherries?
Well, I did with my children is I was talking to your mom this weekend and I told her, do you remember when we went picking blueberries, or not blueberries, choke cherries at Saskatoons after school in the fall? And she remembers that. But with the choke cherries, I used to make choke cherry jelly and it's delicious.
Yeah, because they're ready right now. I saw there's a bunch of choke cherries ready at the cabin, but yeah, they definitely need sugar. They're very tart, very stringent.
And then later the fall, my children and I used to go picking cranberries, wild cranberries.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a northern thing. Hey, I've never seen them down here.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's
and they were called high bush cranberries, and I used to make cranberry jelly, and it was so good. And we had our neighbors for dinner one Christmas, and I said, I made these cranberries, and our neighbor wouldn't eat it.
Why?
I don't know.
What an idiot.
It's not really canon.
Oh my God.
You get it?
Literally the best quality shit that you can get. And it's like, no, I want dirty canned cranberry.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did that with my father just to teach him that this is what we can do.
Well, I mean, I've gotten into foraging the past couple of years.
I know you have.
Literally everything is medicine or food. Everything. Like, I've just been teaching myself and I use an app to identify things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I read about this or I know about this or it's, there's so much. Like people have become so terrified
of everything.
And it's like, nope, that's just nature. You're part of nature. Like it's here for you. There's all kinds of things that you can eat. And it's so fun.
It is fun. It's nice. I enjoy taking my kids out after school. We'd have a snack at home and then off we'd go. And they have fun doing it.
Yeah, because it's awesome. Yeah, and just being in nature, all of those things is really healthy too for people. Yeah. So you grew up, you mentioned that kids had to do a lot of work on the farm, but do you feel like you still got to be kids?
Oh, absolutely. In the wintertime, on weekends, my cousins from across the road would come to our house and we'd go to their place and we would play hide and seek in the barn. And it was fun. We'd cover ourselves with hay. And it was just common. And then sometimes at night, especially when we had a full moon, we'd go out in our backyard and we'd make a big circle in the snow. We'd follow each other and make like a big circle. And then we'd divide it in sections and we called it goose, snow in the goose or goose in the snow or something. And fox and the goose. So the fox, there's one person that was a fox, and he stood in the middle of the circle. And the rest of us, I guess, were geese. And he would chase after us, and we would run around, and it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever got caught was the fox.
Yeah.
So he had to take, or she, or he had to take the turn. And it was lovely. We played outside a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we lived up north, my class, we went to Camp Cameron in the winter. Do you remember Cameron Lake by Chetwynd?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's a camp out there, and we went, oh wait, did we go a couple of times? We must have, because I remember one time I climbed this wall and I jumped off and I sprained my heel. And remember when I had that bruised bone in my foot when I was staying with you? Anyway, so we went one time in the winter, and this is being in northern Canada. So for anybody listening, it's probably minus 25 and 20 feet of snow. But I remember we were playing outside. We were playing kick the can. And so our whole class was outside, and it was dark, right? Pitch black. Maybe we had flashlights. I can't remember, but it must have been a full moon because it was like bright enough to see. I just remember that being like one of the best things ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun playing outside in the snow when there's a full moon when you're a kid. Yeah. And we used to do stuff like that all the time. Like I remember going tubing, with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, up north in the winter, it's dark like 80% of the time. So you've got to go play outside in the dark, and it was awesome.
Oh, it really, really is.
Yeah.
You can't beat it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd rather play outside in the summertime, but still, when that's all you know and that's where you live, you do it in the snow in the dark.
But those are all good experiences, and it builds memories.
Yeah.
And that is valuable.
Totally. We were always doing stuff like when I was a kid, we'd go to the farm and have pig roasts, or we were camping, or we were, ice fishing. And
yes,
we always did stuff.
Yeah, we did too.
Yeah. And it just feels like now everyone lives life indoors, which I think is contributing to a lot of the health issues that we have.
And stress.
Totally.
Because when you're actually outside, you're releasing a lot of stress.
Yeah. I know. I tell people all the time, it's like, when do you ever go for a walk in the forest and come back feeling worse? Like, never. Like, there's literal healing frequencies.
Exactly.
You come out feeling healthier.
Yes, you do. It's fun. I love it.
It is. I'm just going through some of my questions here, and I feel like we already touched on a bunch of them. This is a good one. Do you think there were any cultural or community practices that were important for maintaining a sense of well-being and social connection?
Say that again.
So, like, did you guys do church?
Every Easter.
Oh, okay.
Because when we lived on the farm, the roads were very small. They were dirt roads. People were using horses and buggies and sleds and stuff like that.
Did you guys have a car?
Yeah. I don't know what year it was, but I was little. And my dad bought a Ford Model T, I think it was.
Well,
or whatever brand it was. But it was a Model T. Anyway.
Yeah, those are like super old.
Don't kill me. As old as I am.
But you guys did a lot of community stuff, right? Or like at least we'll see if there was big families and then you had family across the street, but like were there quite a bit of like communal things that happened? Or
in my mother's early years, there was. When I was growing up, living on the farm, mostly with relatives, whether it was weddings or not. I remember I was 5 years old and my mom asked me to do something and I said, no, I wouldn't do it. And they were going the next day to a function. And my mom says, okay, Shirley, then you're not coming with us tomorrow. They left me alone. They're 5. And I was 5 years old. They left me all alone. Everybody else went. Literally, because I refused to do what she wanted. And I can't remember what it was all about.
Were you upset about it? Or were you having the best day of your life?
Well, I was. I can't remember if I must have cried. I went over to my cousin's house across the.
Oh, okay.
So I played with that.
That's hilarious. If you did that now, you get thrown in jail.
I know there's so many things that the kids are abused, like us kids working in the gardens. That would be called abuse today. Us carrying water to the house, that would be abuse. Milking cows. I remember Mom and Dad going into Edmonton, and us kids would come home from school, and they gave us orders. Gotta bring in the cows and milk them, feed the pigs, feed whatever else, chickens and so forth. And I hated doing that. And I said to the kids, well, I'll cook dinner and you guys go and do the chores. They were happy as can be.
How old were you when you were cooking dinner?
Let's see, maybe 10.
Wow. That's when you started cooking, you think?
Oh, hell, I was cooking out long before. We were peeling potatoes. And the one time when we're still on the farm, we were all working with Mom and Dad on the farm. We were all together doing stuff. So my mom says to Elsie and I, go kill a chicken and we'll have chicken for dinner. We said, okay. So we caught a chicken. Did I tell you this?
Probably.
And I said, anyway, we caught this chicken and we had a log on the ground with a little hatchet. That's when we butchered our birds.
And wait, and how old were you guys?
I'll bet you I was 10 or 11.
And Santi Elsie would have been
2 years older than me.
Oh, older.
We stretched the chicken's neck on the wood, across the wood, and I'm holding the chicken with my feet, with my hands. And my sister went, whack. And I got scared and I let the chicken go. And this poor little chicken's running through the yard with his head hanging on.
Oh, God.
It was gross. And we were laughing and we're chasing this chicken. And we said, let's hurry up and catch the chicken because Mom won't like this. I can still visualize the whole scenario.
Oh, my gosh. It's so funny.
It was, yeah. We did a lot of things that people don't have now.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well,
and now that's all abuse. And the kids learn nothing. Yeah, the kids learn nothing at home.
Yeah, those are good skills. I mean, I'm going to have to know how to kill a chicken. And I don't know. I mean, Dad grew up doing that stuff because they had a farm. And he has a similar story. What the hell? I don't know if it was him, but somebody went to kill a chicken and it ran around with its head cut off, but it chased Uncle Danny into a shed. And he had like a full-on mental breakdown. He was like screaming. He was cornered and screaming, and there was this headless chicken, like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dad tells that story all the time. It's funny. It's common occurrences. I mean, like, so many funny things happen when you live that way.
It's true.
Do you guys ever remember being like stressed? So like there was lots of work to be done. So
are you kidding?
Was anybody stressed?
That word wasn't even spoken. Absolutely not. What's there to be stressed? The only time I was stressed is if I knew I was going to get a licking when Mom and Dad come in. That's about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Lickings didn't hurt me when I owed up.
Yeah, it's interesting because now everybody's stressed out about everything.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's interesting because people still worked really hard back in the day. Of course. But it wasn't, like, I wonder what changed. What is it? Like, is it the technology? Is it
psychology? We didn't even know anything about psychology.
You would have known if you had felt like unease or like anxious about something, right? Like, yeah, but I mean, people generally feel stress on a daily basis now. Like we have people that have adrenal fatigue. We got, like, myself included. Like I've lived a life of produce, and lots of stress, lots of medications, lots of crap that has been put in my body since a very young age that resulted in adrenal fatigue. That's so severe now that I can't even go quite
differently up by today.
Yeah.
There's just no comparison.
No, there's not. Would you say that it was healthier for people the way that you guys used to live?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of people want to live. It's not like, it's just more in harmony, with nature and being closer to your food and closer to animals and all of that, right? It just seems to equate to a much healthier way of living. Like when you look at cultures who have the least amount of stress or that live the longest, there's certain things that are consistent, and it's food quality, it's community, it's being in a natural habitat. All of these things are important, and
there isn't much natural anymore.
no. And it's crazy because in Canada, like, we have tons of nature here, right?
We have the land.
We do.
We really do.
Yeah. And I know for me, like, I just feel really called to go to the land.
For you.
Yeah. But the way that I want to do it is a little bit different. Would still love to have a garden and all of that, but I see more of a way to create community. My dream now is I really want to open up a retreat center. So have some beautiful places for people to stay, but also communal area. And then I've been dreaming about opening an apothecary cafe, so they can have all the delicious potions and things that I like to make, and people come and go foraging in the forest and make cool products and things like that for people to experience when we come to visit, and just be able to live, on the land. That's what I want to do. And I know a lot of other people want to do that too.
Really?
Oh, so many people. Yeah. The last few years have just opened up a lot of people's eyes. And I think sovereignty is also something that people are really craving. So many people now rely on systems and government and all of this shit that is actually making people sicker. And a lot of people are just going, nope, we're done.
Enough.
It's hard now, though, because we are in a place now where everything is so bloody expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah. Nobody's getting free land in this generation.
Oh, heavens, no, never.
You better have $1 million in order to do it. So, it's tough for folks, but people are figuring it out. I see communal things popping up, and there's lots of ways that people are making it happen. And
there used to be communal places up north.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, there's lots of places all over.
I don't think I would want to live in a communal, though.
No, it's not really my jam either.
No.
Yeah. I've had too much insight into cults and cult activity. I don't want anything to do with that. But did you guys ever know any people from like the Hutterite communities or?
Well, the down quilt I'm giving to Natasha.
Yeah.
The Hutterite people made it for me and my husband. Yeah, it's homemade.
Yeah.
And it's very well done. And I loved Annie J. She was called Annie J. I still have her phone number. She was so kind to us, and she was so gracious. She would take Grandpa and me around and show us their communal house and the kitchen. First class, very commercial.
Oh.
Clean as could be. And the men ate on this side of the kitchen, and the women and the children ate on this side. I believe there's quite a bit of drinking going on there because she offered Grandpa a drink and Grandpa said, no, thank you.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought they were like super religious and stuff.
They are.
Oh, but they drink.
Oh, heavens. Yeah, they make their own stuff. See, there again, they make everything.
Yeah. Well, they live similarly to how you guys did, except for more religious stuff. And then they wear like super old timey clothes.
I know. It's true. No, I couldn't do that.
We went there once for a school trip. We went to a community when I was going to Duncan Cran. Yeah. It was called Osborne or something. There's a community called Osborne.
I don't know.
Anyway, I was like, whoa, this is trippy. Like, I was hanging out with little kids my age, but they were dressed in like, outfits from the 1800s.
Oh, yeah.
And this is so strange. But I know now, even in Fort St. John, Hutterite turkeys and Hutterite chickens and stuff, but people go crazy over the stuff that they produce because it's real homegrown stuff. They still live like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
On their grain, feed their animals with good grain.
Yeah, normal stuff, not like factory farm corn with GMO bullshit and chemicals and hormones and all the other crap that everybody's eating and making us all chronically ill. Oh, actually, tell me a funny story that happened on the farm.
Hello. Okay. I wish you'd have asked me that.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like, because I know you've told me stuff before, but like, weren't there crazy stories of like getting pulled behind like horses and
Oh, yes. Oh, that was the most fun. We weren't that old, come to think of it. But every Sunday, our friends, the Zimmer kids, one Sunday they would supply a stone boat and a horse. And after dinner,
wait, what's a stone boat?
it's made of logs. It's like skis. It's not skis, but only they're logs. And then it's built with boards across. And on the farm, people used to use them to pick rocks because they could just throw the rocks on there. So in the wintertime, us kids would hitch a horse into the stone boat and we'd get all dressed up and go up on the road. And we'd make the horse run really fast and we'd push each other off the stone boat. And then we'd have to run like mad after the stone boat to get back on. And whoever was left in the stone boat would keep pushing us off and we'd fall in the ditches and they'd make the horse go in and out of the ditch with the stone boat. We had more fun. We had so much fun.
How common were injuries on the farm?
Oh, well, one guy, his name was Herbie, and the stone boat ran over his foot.
Oh my God. Like, did it crush his foot or like, was it?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think I just heard it. But yeah. I believe he was in school the next day.
Yeah.
We would do this till midnight. Yeah. Our friends would go home. Well, whoever supplied the stone boat and horse would bring family home and then they would head home and vice versa. Yeah, so it was great fun.
How common was illness back then? Like, you guys didn't know kids that had like autism and stuff, did you? That didn't even exist, did it?
Well, not that I knew of.
What about ADHD?
There were a lot of children with learning difficulties.
What kind of learning difficulties?
Do you know, because I was young at that time. So I just hard to learn, say, grammar, or just ordinary printing and writing or reading. Reading was a big one.
Really?
And I remember this one young boy, he was, what grade? We were grade 3. And his mother, I asked my mom after about his mother, and she said his mom was slow and intellectually, and so was this young boy. His name was George. He brought his homework back to school, and he had jam on a sheet of paper. And the teacher gave him such a licking, you wouldn't believe, with a yardstick. Jesus Christ. She would beat the heck out of him on his head, anywhere she could strike him.
Wow.
I have never forgotten it.
That's like so traumatizing.
It was awful. It was
Horrible.
awful.
Horrible. I mean, like, oh, wow.
Yeah. And then every now and then our teacher would be away for quite a length of time. And her husband was a teacher, and it was a 2-room school. And so he would teach both rooms. Anyway, after I left that school and moved to Edmonton, I often thought about him and whatever happened to him. And I asked my cousin a few years ago, and he said that, well, every time I ran into him, he was always drunk. And he died very young of alcoholism. And it was really, really sad. And I'm sure that all has something to do with it.
Of course. That's addiction is from trauma.
It was awful. Those were the days where teachers trapped the hell out of the kids.
That's just insane.
And I know another young...
That's abuse.
Oh, totally.
And the parents knew about it and didn't care?
You know what? I don't know, Sadie. I don't know. But I know of another young fellow. His father told him to go and close the gate for the night. And he refused. The son refused. And I guess the father was so angry, he spoke to the school teacher, Mr. Gilba, and the boy, his name was Lawrence, he came to school, and Mr. Gilba strapped the hell out of him. And I remember Mr. Gilba saying, now you have to listen to your father.
And another layer of epigenetic generational trauma we have to transmute in this generation. Like, it's just never ending. Yeah, that's insane.
There was a lot of that.
I would assume that if kids are having difficulties learning, it was maybe because the educators were really shitty.
They were, and they thought they were so cool.
Well, yeah, it's interesting how authority seems to assume that, whether it's the church or the education system or the government. We seem to have a lot of incompetence that seems to think they know what's best for everybody else.
When I studied political science, our instructor told us that it's not the most intelligent that go into politics. It's people who can't earn a living on their own. So they go into politics. And
when drama teachers, like our friggin' prime minister, well, he is.
Anyway, I see it all the time. They're not the smartest people in politics.
Have the most connections and are the schmarmiest. Interesting. Okay, but other than that, so say people got sick in the day, were home remedies very common?
Watkins had liniment, and the parents used to rub their chest, the kids' chests. They had colds. I remember, I don't think I was a school age yet, but our neighbors, their home was quarantined because they had, what illness was it? It's one of those childhood illnesses.
Like measles or something?
It wasn't measles, whooping cough. It was whooping cough. Mm-hmm. And I remember my dad had to go to town for something, and he comes back and he says to my Mom, hurry, the nurses are in town. Let's take the children for their vaccinations. And I remember, oh God, why are you telling this? So Mom, of course, we didn't have running water. So we couldn't get thrown in the tub really quick. So she's washing us up, our feet, because we run around barefooted in the summertime. And we all got cleans all the time. We're heading into town. And of course, all us little kids are standing in the back seat of the Model T car. Mm-hmm. And one of us kids, I don't know if it was my sister or me, that said, Mom, David doesn't have his shoes on his feet are dirty. My mom said to my dad, Dad, pull over to the side wherever you find a ditch with water.
Rub the shit off in the ditch.
So Mom and David went into the ditch somehow, and I don't know how she washed them. Probably threw some water on them, and this is how he's going to go see the nurse. That was traumatic. And now, my God, you wouldn't think anything of it, would you?
Yeah, that's funny. Do you remember how many vaccines used to be given out, as kids?
Same as they do now.
No, not even close.
No?
I was just looking at the vaccine schedule here in Canada with a friend recently, because I know it's insane in the States. It's they get 90 shots now, children in the US. I think in Canada, I can't remember the number now, but it is astronomical, the amount of pharmaceuticals that are being injected into children now. It is wild. Even from when I was a kid, because we used to get, I know there were a few when we were a baby, and actually Mom told me recently that after, I think it was the whooping cough vaccine, that I screamed for 3 days solid after.
You were allergic to one?
Great. Yeah. Could have contributed to the, 38 years of chronic illness that I've had. So that's fine. But yeah, there was a few that we had as babies. And then when we were, I think you get your grade 6 and your grade 9 shots. And I think it's Hep C, Hep A, and something. But there was maybe 3 or something. And then I had a couple to travel to some places, but like it's generally not even close to the amount of shit that they are putting into people now. And there's a lot of people that say that, you know, all of the autism and the ADD and all of this stuff has to do with all of these pharmaceuticals.
But who's saying that?
I don't know, a lot of people that are doing legal work, battling a lot of these, you know, large institutions, because people are saying firsthand, hey, got my kid vaccinated for this thing, and then they couldn't talk anymore.
But the children that haven't been vaccinated today, they're coming down with measles and mumps.
And maybe, well, it's not that all vaccines are bad, right? Like some are probably really important and necessary, but
measles,
are 90 of them when you're like a child necessary? That just seems a little overboard.
Contact the health unit. See, you should find out.
Yeah. Let me know what it is exactly.
Okay.
Because I was shocked. Like just from what I had looked up, I was like, well, that's a lot.
So what did you look at?
I don't know, whatever I Googled. Like, let's do it right now. How many childhood vaccines are in Canada?
Well, Rianne hasn't said anything about that.
Oh, God, I'd have to dig into it. It's not coming up right now.
It's okay, sweetie. Okay. I'm going to look into it.
Yeah, and it's just more like, I was surprised too, because, you know, one of my friends, she's 10 years younger than me. She was getting vaccinated for chickenpox. They vaccinate kids for chickenpox now, and for
they did
HPV, and
they didn't.
Well, no, you'd have chickenpox parties, and you would want the kids to get chickenpox. At least that's what it was when I was a kid. There was no chickenpox vaccines back then.
I don't know.
So, like, home remedies were sometimes common, but just maybe not in our family. I know Dad talked about, or Grandma used to do, like a mustard plaster.
Oh, yeah, we didn't get that.
No? Oh, yeah. He said it was awful.
Uh-huh.
Onions and socks. Did you ever do that?
No, I've heard of that. And garlic around the neck.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, they make like a necklace of garlic.
Oh, does that look like to...
And you wore it around your neck.
Stave away vampire.
You never got sick.
Yeah.
I never had that.
Some of those things are maybe not so great, but herbal remedies are pretty good, though.
Probably. I remember my mom would give us some moonshine.
Yeah?
When we were really sick.
For what? To help with cough? Or?
Oh, I don't know.
Help you sleep?
I have no idea.
That's funny.
We'd get a little shot of moonshine.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Definitely go to jail for that now.
Oh my God. That
Too funny. Well, we're at the end of our time now. Last question. What advice or lessons from the past would you give to the younger generation about living a more balanced life?
Get a career that you really like.
Mm-hmm.
That'll prevent a lot of stress. I think that's the number one. And marry a person that both of you are compatible. Very important. And always be kind. You'll feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You'll live happier.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's easier to be kind than not.
I can't imagine living a life doing something that you hate every day when it comes to work. That would definitely be awful.
Go ahead.
And relationships can cause a lot of stress.
Exactly.
If you don't make the right choices. And, you know, I think our generation knows that a little bit more now. Back in the day, it was like...
I'm not sure they do.
Well, not totally, but I mean, like, you see a lot more single women now, right?
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with not wanting to tolerate being in a relationship that isn't fulfilling.
Exactly.
Back in the day, it was like, well, you get married and you're kind of stuck.
You made your bed and you lay in it.
Yeah, and it's not so much the case now, which
no,
I think is good, but it's still challenging.
And it's sad when marriages break up and there's little children involved, because they really do need the influence of both parents.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing all your wisdom.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
I hope lots of people, you know, glean some insight, got to hear a little perspective that they may not have had from their family members, and a little bit of inspiration as well.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Big love as always for being here today. I appreciate you so much supporting this project. Here's to truth, unity, the mystical, and the magical. If you want to connect more, hit me up on the gram at magic, magick.maven. I'm a lover and maker of herbal potions, beautiful environments, brands, adventures, and wild crafts. So if that's something that lights you up, I am always up to some wacky adventure and would love to connect with you there. If you feel called to share this episode, please do. This is a passion project. I'm not doing any sponsorship at this time, so it would mean the world. Thanks again, and see you on the next episode.